My Move the Chains audience, we are back and we are blessed in addition to this Move the Chains podcast with your man and your host, Sam McIntyre, RKO, baby. Austin Undertaker, let's fucking go. I'm feeling great today, but I'm not feeling as good as the Detroit Lions last night. What a fucking game. What a comeback by this Lions team. They got this grit. They got this determination. You know, they could be biting kneecaps. Dan Campbell and the Lions, they are balling. 8-1. Mike Kesnick, punch your ticket to the Super Bowl, brother, because I am with the Lions, and I'll get to them in a second. I want to give my reaction to the Lions and Texans, two teams. You know, Houston's pretty good, but they got some question marks that I got on my end. Texans are in trouble a little bit. Lions, hey, book your ticket, brother. You're going to the Super Bowl. I got that gut feeling. They won last night despite Goff not being on his game, but it really doesn't matter. They balled last night. They're in a good mood. So I really think Detroit's on the way up. Some alarming things yesterday from Chicago. When it just keeps getting worse, whatever rains it pours, man. I mean, it just keeps getting worse, and I'll dive into that in a second. But I wanted to start last night with that game. And if you were to tell me a couple years ago, a team that a quarterback threw 5 interceptions and was playing like shit like that, and their defense giving up some points, and they weren't playing well, they're all out of whack, you would have thought that game would have been 45-13 last night. But not this team. This team with Detroit, they're like a UFC fighter. You have to hit and swing and punch and everything at their disposal to get their ass on the ground. And last night was the perfect Dan Campbell game. Tough, physical, resilient, gritty, tough. I'm all in, man. And I'm a Packer fan at heart, but I got to root for the Lions now, man. I'm pulling for the city of Detroit. Derek Solomon, you know me, brother. I know you're a big Lions fan. Mike Kesnick. Shout out to some of my guys out there that are big Lion fans, have been suffering for a long time. That team to me is awesome. I love Goff. I've been a Goff fan a long time. He was not on his game last night. I will be the first to admit that. Really struggled. A lot of that, though, was out of his control. Balls tipping up last night. The Texan defense without Will Anderson, the great pass rusher. Kind of a similar stance for the Lions without Aiden Hutchinson, obviously. Their top pass rusher pick from a couple years ago out of Michigan. There was a lot of things last night that just did not go the Lions' way, but they didn't flinch, they didn't favor. I think Goff, they have the right battle-tested quarterback to handle anything. He went through the mud in L.A. He dealt with a lot of shit in college at Cal, taking over a 1-11 football team to 8-5, and obviously being the number one pick by the Rams. Rams didn't want him. So there's just a lot of things that kind of fit what Dan Campbell and this Lions regime do. And Brad Holmes last night, God, I love Brad Holmes, man. He's fired up. He's passionate. Let's go. Woo! I love it last night. What a great scene. And for a guy that's a Raider fan, was there last year in Detroit, in Ford Field, on Monday Night Football. That place was electric as I've ever been to. So great win last night for the Lions, and they continue to do it different ways. This is what great football teams do. They find ways to win when they're not on their A game. This is what I love about football. It's one thing that, is different from these sports. We bring people together. We pick each other up. If one unit's bad, we pick the other unit up and we bring it together into a winning formula. And I will say, on the flip side, the Texans last night, that's a hard one to swallow. You were up big at home, 23-7. You had control of that game. I was starting to worry a little bit about the Lions last night. They might get their second loss of the year. But Houston kind of just fell apart last night. And I'll give them credit. Their offensive line has been much maligned the last couple weeks. I know they mentioned on the broadcast they kind of went and they did some shuffling along the offensive line to kind of help CJ out. I've been feeling lately with CJ, he's been having to do a lot more than what I think he would like. He's pressing. I've always called him SOS, Smooth Operator Stroud. I have a nickname, Smooth Operator Sam. That's besides the point. But he had that, kind of could step and he could move in the pocket and he was smooth with his thing. And I felt like last night you saw that. And now there was some times last night, the throws that he made last year where, he boots out and he stops and then he plants it and he's pointing to the thing. Last night, it was a little underthrown. But I'll tell you this with Carlton Davis, that guy's a pro. He's a senior citizen back there in that back end. And I got to give the Lions credit. They had a weakness last year in their back end. You go back to the playoff game against Tampa Bay at home. They did win that one. They're struggling with Mike Evans, but Mike Evans is our matchup for any corner in this league. I don't care how good you are. It could be Deion Sanders or in his prime or Sauce Gardner pretty good player. So a lot of things the Lions did right last night. Those draft picks paid off. Terrion Arnold from Alabama looked good. Brian Branch is just an absolute fucking stud. He was fucking roaming all over my TV set last night. I went, holy shit. He's been a baller ever since he came out of Alabama. Great pickup by the Lions. And this continue to do a great job with this organization, with the structure, with Sheila Ham running the show. And they had John Dorsey, who's been an advisor, who's been and seen what successful organizations done. Obviously, he was in Green Bay during Ron Wolf days. So a lot of experience, a lot of good heads on the shoulders. And Aaron Glenn's got a lot of credit as defensive coordinator. And I think that game meant a lot to him last night, going to Texas A&M, obviously, and reading his story. But great win for the Lions last night. Great win for the Lions. I know I was getting on the Texans, but I kind of went off topic there. But Houston's going to be okay. Their division's kind of wonky right now. Colts are kind of in shambles. Jacksonville's a mess. I think they quit on Doug Peterson. And the Titans are just a wreck. So Houston's still going to win this division. But I do have concerns. Hopefully they get Nico Collins back because they need that guy back ASAP. They kind of struggled last night. They're just struggling on the deep ball of their offense. And it's crazy to think because early in the year they were balling with this offense, and he's like their better version of Mike Evans last night. So, again, a lot of things they got to do in Houston, but you still got C.J. Stroud, and you got D'Amico Ryans, who I'm putting stock in, is a really good coach. And, listen, they'll get Will Anderson back. This team's going to be really good. They're not as good as they were last year, obviously, but Joe Mixon helps out in the run game. He helps out in the pass game. And Cincinnati's done for letting him go. I mean, I don't understand it, but what do I know? I'm not in these GM front office seats. But great win for the Lions last night. Wacky game between two teams that I could see in the Super Bowl possibly. But you got to go through Kansas City in the AFC. And I think Detroit's settled themselves in as one of the best teams in the NFC. And it's not even close. I wanted to talk about something yesterday that I saw in the good old Chicago Bears. Oh, boy. I watched that game yesterday, and listen, I got family from Chicago. I tried rooting yesterday hard, and I was pulling for the Bears, but I just can't right now. And I think this team is just a reflection of their ownership. The Caskies are cheap. I don't understand why they can't just fire a coach in season. I don't understand that. I know they flirted with let's bring back Eberflus. What was the rush to bring him back? What has Eberflus done? Like, the Bears, to me, I like Justin Fields a lot, but you were doing the same shit to him that you did Trubisky, where you had John Fox, but you just couldn't get rid of him. Then you couldn't bring in a new staff, and it's a mess, and it's same cycle every year. And are they going to ruin Caleb? Probably, but this is what the Bears do. And I hate being a mean guy on a Monday. I'm trying to be sympathetic because I feel for Bear fans. I'm a Packer fan, and I love when the Bears lose, but I want the Bears-Packer rivalry to be great again. And I just can't wrap my brain around how the Bears just struggle. Like, you're in Chicago. This is big media. This is a loud market. I was hearing today, like, if the Jaguar or Bear job would open, which job would you take? I would take neither. Because now I got to figure out with Caleb, how do I put an offense around him? Like we thought this offense that they put around him in Chicago with the weaponry, but you took a receiver instead of drafting offensive line. Again, we blame Caleb Williams, and some of this is his fault. I will get into the New England in a second in the job that they did. But this falls on Caleb. Part of it too, because he's hanging on the ball way too fucking long. You got to get rid of it, dude. 1, 2, 3, snap, go, out. And I still feel like sometimes, and I said this, and I was concerned about this coming out, he's doing too much of that home run shit and too much playmaker. And the other thing I just really pissed me off, and this is going to piss Bear fans off, and you can comment with me on this. Did anybody not see shades of Jay Cutler yesterday? Because I did, and I didn't see it. I didn't think I would, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing Jay Cutler vibes again. Here we go. I'm telling you, this is not good for Bear fans. And it's laughable to me that he's your best quarterback in your franchise history. So, Bears, listen, you might not win one game from here on fucking out. Like, I'm sorry, Niners are getting healthy. You still got to face Green Bay. You got to face the Vikings, and you got to face the Lions. good luck. Another year in Chicago, another disappointing season and frustrating season for Bears that just can't get out of their own fucking way. And I have a message for the McCaskey family. Stop being cheap. Go all in. You're in Chicago. You're not in Jacksonville or Birmingham, Alabama. No offense. You're in Chicago, damn it. Do something about it. Stop being cheap. Go all in on a coach. The Chargers were like this for a long time. And then they put their big boy pants on. Mama ain't raised no bitch. Yay! And they finally got a coach that's worth it. They got Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh said, okay, here's my offer. $16 million. Can I bring my guy over? Bet. Let's go. Bam. So they got to prove. On the flip side, Drake Maye has impressed me, man. Listen, I know I've been kind of on this Drake Maye thing. I've been trying to come up with new stuff to talk about on here. Drake Maye impressed me yesterday. They didn't ask him to do a lot, but distribute the ball. 7 different receivers yesterday. He's putting touch on it. This is what I had a lot of things about him coming out of the draft. I liked him a lot. He's a great kid. No bullshit. Comes from a great family. Athletic family. I mean, his brother was at Florida, or I think it was Duke or something like that in the championship game. Really smart kid. You know, the tape, listen, if his beauty is in the eye of the beholder with this kid. And I tell you what, New England, they're not going to finish first overall pick. They're going to sneak some games out of this. Because their defense is balling. I know the Bears' offensive line sucks. Sorry to say it. And they only got 9 sacks. But I'm just saying, going forward, I'm more sold on the Patriots than I am the Bears. Because at least with the Patriots, I go, well, just put more pieces around Drake Maye. There's talent there. He's not doing with much. But I'm seeing Drake Maye. He's making throws. You know, the one pick he had yesterday was like the guy in the zone and was in the flat. I get it. That was on him. And he didn't see it. That's okay. He's a rookie. I expect that. So I'm sold on Drake Maye. I think the New England, for the first time, now I'm worried about them because of their culture and what they've been, drafting offensive skill players. But I see momentum going with New England right now. And I think going forward, Drake Maye, I could win with Drake Maye. Now, Caleb, can you win with him? Maybe, but he has yet to be seen. So until the Bears get an offensive line and get a creative offensive coordinator to fit Caleb's thing, then what am I going to see? I'm going to see the same shit over and over again. So that's all I want to talk about here tonight. I hope you guys are doing well on this Manic Monday. Tomorrow night I'll be posting more videos throughout the week. Be prepared. Just about to go watch the Rams-Dolphins game. And I'll give you guys a post-game reaction on that tomorrow. Like I always say, subscribe, hit the like, share, follow button. Stay tuned for more videos this week, and I'll talk to you guys soon.